Sure.
Why do I look closer than you do? Because you're leaning back.
Because I'm just more down there. Now make sure you talk in your mic though really good, okay?
Okay, but I don't want to do this. See, then I'm not in there.
Welcome to Growing Up Chestnut, everybody. Glad you could join us for this episode. We're going to be talking about missionaries. Missionaries. Or as we nicknamed them, moochinaries as children.
Well, some are.
We'll explain that in just a minute. Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Growing Up Chestnut. Mike here and my beautiful, beautiful sister, Becky. How are you doing?
I'm good. We haven't seen each other.
I know. We've had so much stuff going on. Ever since we did that with Greg, it ruined us.
I know. Oh, bad omen.
Oh, man. You know how much footage I had to bleep out?
I still haven't seen that footage. Do you know that? That's the only one I have not seen.
It's hilarious.
I even watched last week. You and Amber, it was funny, and but I have not done that one yet. Okay.
Oh, that's
what I'll do tonight.
Yeah, it's
because everybody
funny.
was telling me it was like beep.
That was Dad, because Dad's giving names, and things like that. We can't give names. Oh, we can, but Becky gives me a bad stink eye. Mom had an evil eye, and you have inherited her evil eye. Mom always had this evil eye, and as we're doing the show, a lot of times you'll see Becky's evil eye look at me, and it's so funny to me because it's like Mom sitting right here next to me.
And when we were at Valley, even when the kids were around, when we come home and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, you're just like your mother," because I turn around, they said they could see that slow turn in my eyes. We're like, my eyes used to be big, but they've gotten smaller since I got older.
I think. What's funny is like Jeannie Noble catches that all the time. I think her and our cousin Sharon, they love watching you react to.
They know when something's like, oh no.
Oh, Mike's right there on the edge. You see Becky.
Oh, sitting between you and Greg. Dad. That was the worst. We were worried about Greg, and Dad was the worst. But I did. Ziggy and I are going to do the Adventures of Ziggy and Gigi. We're going to do a podcast.
That's awesome.
Yes. And we're working on that. And
so when they start doing that, we'll put a link on here so you guys all can watch it, because that's going to be.
He's 8 years old, and me and him are going to do the Adventures of Ziggy and Gigi, and that's exciting.
I'm looking forward to that. I like Ziggy.
And I started a new podcast, and I actually did the first one with just myself. So I didn't really give I didn't get in details of my story, but I haven't talked about my story in 21 years. I don't even talk to you, or I don't talk about it. So
that's exciting.
But the first one I'm talking about just give them a little bit of insight on myself and why I want to do the podcast. It's not very long, but then the next few are, and I think Joy's going to be the first one. Joy Lewis used to be St. John.
Joy St. John. Me and Joy used to be in a trio together.
Yeah, and she's like our baby sister because they actually lived with us for about a year when they came off the boat. When they came from the mission field. But anyway,
they were in Liberia, Africa.
So I'm excited, and I've got some ladies lined up, and I even might have like a couple of ladies are interested, and I don't even have to
ask.
That's
I'm great.
So excited, and they're like people. I'm like,
well, it's so great. It's so great when you do something and you see God show up and anoint it and say it's doing it, because
I've been wanting to do it since I got divorced. I've had this one pastor kept saying you could be such a minister. He's always bugging me, like nope. But anyway, I've had a couple preachers just say, some said the negative stuff. I hate it, sister. God's just done with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and then I had a few. I don't know what you can do. Just be a blessing for people. But anyway, long story short, they mean well. But
do they?
Yeah, no, I don't know. But anyway, Wesley, I mentioned it to Wes, and then one day Wes and I and Jamie were sitting there, and we just when we did that Growing Up Chestnut, where I came and they left because I left, and Dad laughed because Dad said, "You got up and went to the bathroom in the middle," and I go, "I can't go to the bathroom. I said I had to go to a doctor's appointment. And I told the kids it had to be done by a certain time, and they just kept going. So I just had to get up and go. So anyway, isn't that funny? He thought that he was laughing. He thought that was so funny. He was disappointed because that's not what I did. But anyway, so Wes and Jamie and I tell it in the podcast. That night when I left and went home, Jamie had already lined up a couple women. Wes had already had the name of it. I mean, they had it, and there was like, and they pretty much have done a lot of the legwork. And
that's awesome.
And because I told Wes, you have to push me.
So what's the date for your first one?
I think it's the 12th of September at 10 o'clock. It's a Friday. I think we're going to do Friday once a month. And I think it's
10 o'clock at night or
10 o'clock in the morning.
10 o'clock in the morning.
And I'm going to do it and it's not going to be live. It may say live, but it's not live. But I'm going to do that every month, once a month.
Well, good.
And I'm going to do Ziggy probably once a month.
Good.
Depending. Good.
You know, I'm glad because I do my Intentional Guy podcast and I wrote my book. I guess this is the year for us to just lay it all out on the table for everybody
Bill
about
goes,
us.
why you guys are doing all these podcasts? I said, I'm enjoying it. And it's like I've got life back in me a little bit.
We do. Well, and for so long, we have let the worst moments in our life define who we are.
Yeah, exactly.
And why let the worst moments define us, but rather let God define us? And God can use our tragedy in our life and our my case, some bad choices I made, and he can turn that around for good.
Well, I think a lot of it is because I feel like we were always trying to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And even when I got married and went in evangelism and stuff, I feel like we were trying to be that, it's like,
well, we were brought up.
But I mean, I didn't think
worried about what people thought.
Right. We were told what people, and to a degree, you do need to do that, but to another degree,
there's a happy medium somewhere in there. And we never had that happy medium. We were always a doormat.
Right. And so I never really grieved certain things. And, but this,
correct.
I told Bill, that's my husband, and I told him, it's been, cathartic. Is that the word?
I'll use it
for me. And it's helped me like come out of my shell a little bit, help me like expand and stuff. But I think I might got him doing a podcast with us.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Bill, let me tell you, Bill is hilarious.
He's hilarious.
When he tells a story, he's like Mom.
He's a storyteller. He
good. Is. And when he tells a story, it is hilarious.
And but he laughs harder than anybody else.
He does, but they're good. And I think he's kind of like Mom. I think they get a little better every time. I want him to tell about Mrs. Big Bottom.
Oh, Lady
Big Bottom and stuff like that. We got some funny stories. And that's the one thing I like. Me and Becky, we have our other podcasts that we do, but I really enjoyed this one.
That's what Wes said. Wes said the other day, he said, this is out of all the podcasts, because Wes has some too. And he's like, this is the fun one. Yeah,
because my
grandkids watch it. My grandkids are upset because they couldn't see it only on Spotify. And I guess you would hit and miss on Spotify. And so now we have to have Spotify. Now we have to have it on Spotify, but Ian, he really is into it. Wes said he'll go in there, he'll just be laughing. I guess Leela's pretty much too.
Yep.
So
and I have people we missed last week, and you have to understand we've had a lot going on in our family, and we're trying to be very faithful to have this time slot every week, every Thursday at 4:00.
Because we have some faithful people that watch it, which is exciting.
Yes, so we're trying to be faithful, but sometimes life takes over with us, and Becky had to take Jamie to Mayo Clinic.
Yeah. And I may still have a couple of those things, and if please pray for her, because her disease is starting to deteriorate a little bit, or a lot. I don't know. We don't know. So we're going to Mayo Clinic in a couple of weeks again to see her lamb doctor and see how far she's declined. So just pray for her. And Jamie's always had a good attitude, but I think this time it's hit her a little bit. And so she's been through a lot. But I don't know how people do without God. And we still have fun. We still laugh and cut up and enjoy our life. God is good. And but I didn't mean to take over all that.
No, but well, be praying for me and Amber though, because we're going on a cruise this week again. It's Amber's third
Okay,
one.
Amber's
It's my
your
second one. But we're.
Ask me about.
So
I've done one. You need to not go so I can do another one.
No, Becky,
I got to go on one cruise.
That's when the
I've
kids
been on
were
2
little.
cruises. I like, but yes,
When the kids were little, so we saved and scrimped for this
in your taxes. I think you did
so that we could take the kids on a Disney cruise, and we were so excited about it. But at the last moment, I got this job working at the prison, and I was going to have to go through law enforcement academy, and
they told you
I couldn't miss any time there, and it was right in the middle of this. So Becky went in my stay, and it was a fun trip, wasn't it?
It was fun. It was hilarious. Yeah,
cruises are great.
Yeah.
And me and Amber are really going to enjoy it. John got mad at us. He just found out, and he's like, "Well, why? I'm still here. Why am I? I'd like to go." Well, yeah, but
he just went.
Yes, we did. We took him for a senior trip, and guess what? Me and your mom just want to go. We like our time. The best vacations we learned are without the kids.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to take Delilah.
Yeah.
Because I bet vacation with the great grandkids
you need to
is
do
even
Disney
better.
on that one, because I remember me and Amber. What's your wife's name? Me and Amber.
Heather.
Yeah, right. We went after dinner. Sometimes we'd go to the Disney little shows that they have that were awesome. It was like being there. I mean, it's great. And then we would sit and they would play Disney movies up on the deck in the evening, and that cool breeze. It was just good. We'd just get us a lounge chairs and just talk. And then one time we were just sitting there, and all of a sudden, this guy goes this way and this guy goes this way, and it was Peter Pan and Captain Cook fighting. And I'm like, and then we were in the middle of the show. And then one day we were up there, and because sometimes they didn't do anything, and then we were up there, and all of a sudden these characters came in. Everybody was dancing, and I'm like, what in the world? I just want to see the movie. Can we just see the movie? But anyway, it was
Amber said John loved it because they catered to the kids.
They catered to the kids.
And John, Prince John is all about that.
Because every night up where we would watch the movies, they would have all these carts would appear with all these special lights, like a cup with a light that glows and a little thing with a Disney character hanging on it, something that kids must have, so.
Right.
Anyway.
That's cost $40. Yes.
But it's good. It's good.
Well, we kind of got off topic today, which is great.
That's what
I do want to put a disclaimer on this. Okay. So our family's heart has always been for missionaries.
Absolutely.
Our dad.
He always wanted to be a missionary.
Yes. And he had a heart. Therefore, we had a heart for it. The biggest
still have a heart. Thing
that we ever did was at church was the mission. Dad had phenomenal mission conferences with them.
I know. And that was the highlight of our year.
They were. And that's when we got to see the Noble family and all them.
Mm-hmm. And meet new friends. And
exactly. And it was a great time for us. So I want to put that disclaimer out there that we love missionaries, but I also.
And there's some great ones.
They're great missionaries. But when you're a pastor's family, this was the one thing I hated about our house. We had a missionary apartment in our house, not detached from our house, or attached, but inside
and
our
why we
house.
got inside the house? They were going to make it one separate, but it had something to do with the zoning and stuff and costs and stuff. Dad was telling me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I always thought it was just, but they had a door that closed off. It was Dad's office, had a bathroom and 2 bedrooms, and it had a kitchenette. And
Greg's bedroom was downstairs. But what's funny about it, Dad could never say no to a missionary.
Oh, yeah.
Never could say no. And so we always had someone living in that missionary apartment. It feels like. So
it was.
We would get, so some issues with missionaries would be, it takes a certain type in some of these countries to go to, and their culture is different. And you could tell that with some of the missionaries when they come, that socially they had been away from everybody. They didn't always they were socially challenged, maybe a little bit would be the right way. And we had some of the funniest things happen. And some of them we would call moochinaries, because there was the one family that wanted everything for free. and ran up like a $500 phone bill, which was a lot back then, and left a note for Dad saying, "I would pay you, but I knew you would refuse it." It's like,
the funny thing is,
and didn't even say nothing though. And Dad gets this huge.
The church gets this huge bill. Dad paid it, but that was when it was long distance. It's better to call after 7.
Yes.
At night or on the weekends. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was on the phone all the time. Dad knew he was on the phone, but Dad didn't know he was charging.
Because most missionaries had a calling card, and they used their calling card.
Yeah.
And they used that is how they did it.
Right.
But we had this one missionary family come in, and they hadn't been away. They're on the road all the time doing deputation. They had children, remember? And Mom told them, "I'll watch your kids. We'll watch your kids. You guys go out, enjoy yourself." And the little boy, how old do you think he was? Probably 4.
Are you talking about
the razor?
Yeah, well, they were going over. They just went literally over to the church. Dad took the mom and the dad over to the church, and in this short amount of time,
the little boy got a razor blade and shaved his tongue.
So he comes out, and his sister's screaming.
He's got blood pouring out of his mouth.
She says, "Put a Band-Aid on."
Mom's like panicking, trying to figure out what to do. And figure out what it is. And she's going to put a Band-Aid on it. Put a Band-Aid on it.
They were into everything. That was like
they were
the craziest.
Well, and I think they were the same one. Mom was cutting my hair.
It was the same one.
Was it? And so we're in the bathroom, and Mom's got these shears, and I don't know what she had, but the little boy jumped in the door and went boom at Mom, and Mom went up the side of my head. So right now, my mom, though, I don't get it. Most moms would have I would have had a crew cut then, right?
Right.
Not Rella Chestnut.
I think we told that part of the story, but yeah.
Her boys were not going to have a crew cut. So for a month, my mom filled that in with eyeline pencil.
Her eyebrow pencil, yeah.
Everybody knew it. I mean.
They're all going. Still a gash. There's still a gash.
But she would fill that in.
And he would go, "Mom," and nobody could see that. Nobody knows. And then the kids would go. Make fun of you, Greg, especially.
Oh my gosh.
Then we had the missionaries that we couldn't get rid of.
Yes.
And they were fun. Oh no, the best one was the missionaries with the kids that wouldn't go to bed.
Yeah, you got to tell, because a lot of this.
No, you weren't there for this one. And so they were cute kids. They were good kids, but the mom and dad went downstairs, went to bed because they were tired. And they didn't make the kids go to bed. And I'm not talking teenagers. We're talking probably 8, 9 years old.
Oh my gosh.
In our bathroom doing the toothpaste. I'm going to go to bed. Let's put this away and go to bed. Then I'm like, okay, go in here and watch TV. Let's all go in here. What, you want a snack? And it was like, we babysat all night long.
Oh, wow.
It was horrid. And mom and I, dad went to bed, but me and mom were like, okay. And we were just constantly, it was like, and they were like, in the toothpaste was one of the biggest things. And then I kept hearing something, and I was downstairs and I came up, and they were, that TV that Mom and Dad had in the kitchen. Mm-hmm. They had that on blaring, and they were all like this. And Mom, I go up and I'm in the hallway. Mom's in the hallway and going, and I said, "Just go to bed and I'll take care of it." She says, "I don't know what to do." And Mom,
because Mom and Dad would not say nothing. And that
no, Mom told him to go to bed, but
no, but would talk to the parents.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now.
No, I think she did say something to him. She went down there and said, "Hey, the kids are all up." And so she goes, "That's okay." They said, "That's okay. We're good." She goes,
"Well, we're not." See, if I'm there, they've been in bed.
But they were into everything. They were like the missionary kids from I don't know where.
They were from Hades. So anyway,
I don't know where they were from. They were crazy. It was crazy.
Well,
and then the next day the parents were like,
but then we had missionaries, like you said, that never. Now, Mom and Dad, I remember the longest missionaries that stayed, but they were invited to stay, was the St. John's. They got off the mission field and were coming back. Yeah. And Mom and Dad were like, "Come move in with us, live here." And they stayed with us for about a year until they could get on their feet, get employment and decide what they were going to do. And their daughter was sick. and was going to Mayo Clinic and
Mhm.
stuff like that. But that was enjoyable because we were all
Hey,
a lot alike.
Kathy and I were like, me and her and Greg were all like, and Carrie, we were all like, just
Yeah,
David,
you know,
well,
and then
all
Joy
of us, David,
and me
you,
were the same
yeah.
age.
And but it was like a
Joy and I,
a year-long slumber party with me and Kathy.
well, me and Joy later on after they moved out,
Mhm.
but we became close. We sang in a trio together with Donna.
Yeah.
And we worked at camp together.
Well,
and
the boys, St. John boys, and I think it was me and Kathy. We sang at the Royce Ranch.
Oh, really?
Quartet. Yeah, and I felt like we at least came in third.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
But then we had some missionaries that would come. We just need a few nights here. And then a month later, you're like, Mom, and what would be fun would be to watch Mom, because she would reach her boiling point, and Dad would get it quite a bit. And she's just
Mom was fine with people, and until they overstepped their bounds, and then they wanted to rearrange her house, or
yes. We had one who came in and
wanted to cook their food. Mom, that kitchen, us kids would go, go in. Where are you going? What do you want? Your dad. Everybody's like, Dad does to this day.
One was asking Mom all these questions about Greg, and she was like, where are you getting this from? Well, I was reading his mail, and
that's right.
It and Mom is just like, you what? Mom didn't even admit to reading our mail, but she did.
She did.
But yeah, so sometimes they could be intrusive, right? But then we had missionaries that were so much fun. Okay. They would come in, and
which was most of the time.
It was a blast. Yeah. And that's why I really liked Mission Conference, because like there would be one day that Mom would take all the women shopping. Mm-hmm.
Men too. Do you remember the one year? Maybe you don't, because you were so young a lot of times. The one year there was, I can't remember, but the men would go shopping too, because we had all these outlet stores, Penny, Sears.
We had the world's biggest mall at the time,
and they were true outlets. What they were was like the things from the catalogs that didn't sell before. Mm-hmm. That when the catalog ran out and they put a new catalog, they would take it to the outlet stores, and then they would be like a lot.
Yes.
And so the men would go. Sometimes they'd go golf and sometimes they'd do stuff, but they went that one year, and they all came back. All the missionaries came back, and Dad, with the same jacket. Do you remember that?
No.
They all had I want to say it was burgundy or green. I can't remember. They wore. I mean, it was almost like.
Well, let me tell you.
And it was at the end, so they were. I mean, they loved it. They had a ball.
I can't wait until Jeannie Noble. We've been trying to arrange where we get Jeannie Noble on here, but Jeannie could probably tell some good stories about
from there.
The Mission Conference, because they were there.
Yeah, she said her and Becky Thomas one day were laughing about all the stories, and I'm like, give it to us.
Yeah, well, Becky. Well, and that's another. Scott and Becky.
Yeah.
Scott has a lot of ones with me and Lawrence in the School of Bible and stuff. I always kept Lawrence laughing and stuff like that.
But one of the times, do you remember, we were out of town, and there was missionary and stay, and Mom doesn't stay in the missionary apartment and stuff. And of course, when you'd stay in the missionary apartment, you had kind of have the whole house,
right?
But they had brought dogs in,
and Mom did not like.
We were not have dogs.
We had a dog that slept outside in 22 below zero, and Dad would sneak her in.
Sneaking her in, yeah.
But
Dad and Mom, missionaries brought pets before, but usually they kept, kept them pretty good. But we weren't there, so Mom couldn't say, hey. But yeah, and it somehow, she said it peed all.
Mom hated animals. Mom hated pets. I don't know why.
I didn't think it was bad, but
I think she was treated badly in a previous life.
I told Dad she came back as the cat.
As the cat.
No, the dog the other day, that one dog that Jamie had was going around. And I said, "That's Mom reincarnated." Dad goes, "She came back as a dog." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "She hated dogs." I go, "That's why I got her. Made her come back as a dog." But anyway, she hated animals, and it's not that she said, "I don't hate animals."
She hated them.
But Mom wanted clean. She didn't have things. They didn't have things when they were growing up.
Yeah, but all the Reader sisters were that way.
Well, and so was Uncle Roy. I mean, they were all like they're neat, and there's nothing wrong with that. But
but Mom,
yeah, we weren't allowed to have. We had cats only because we had mice from the corn.
I know
corn
that's
that
why
was
we were
next
able
door.
to get
and then
get cats.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But
and then once they served their usefulness and the mice were gone, Mom would tell you that last time I saw that cat was going out that door.
I know. I remember one time Mom and I were sitting at the kitchen table and we were just talking. I was a teenager and we were just yakking, and she had that stove where the eye pulled out. It was weird. And she could close it up, but she pulled it out and we were just talking. I went, and she goes, "What?" And I'm going, she turns around. She's got a frying pan in her hand, and it was a mouse stuck his head up, and she went. Of course, he ducked before she got him, but it was like, like that gopher game, She was screaming, Dad come running. And of course, our dad, when anything that Mom would scream or she's telling about, and Dad would just laugh. He would just fall out laughing. He would drive me crazy.
So you had missionaries that showed up. But I got to tell you, so my favorite though were evangelist families because one, we got to see them a little bit more because we went to the same camps together.
Well, and then we didn't have to, like with the mission conference, there'd be like 20 people, and you get to know them, but it's differently, and
it's a bigger crowd. But
because even that mission conference, even Mom, like they would feed them over there, but Mom. Like after church, even after they ate snacks, everybody would always end up on Mom's around her kitchen dining room table.
And with the evangelist families,
so we got to be with just them.
But also they brought their own. Usually they brought their own trailer or bus or whatever and lived in that.
Their own kids.
Their things like that. And so we had a lot of favorites. I remember we had the Lindsays up one time and.
That's when you guys did that thing.
That
you formed that band, the Porcelain Ride.
Yeah. And so Bradley Noble.
Never married ugly girl.
Yeah. So I think it was Bradley Noble, and we came up with the name, the Porcelain Ride.
Nobody got it.
Do you get what a porcelain ride? A toilet. Okay. So that's Porcelain Ride. And then that was the name of our group. And we all sat down. We wrote this song called Never always marry an ugly girl because they're not hard to find. If she ever leaves you, you really won't mind. Daddy sat us down one day. I know the song.
We had the Lindsay boys,
so
which I called.
One of them had a violin,
yes.
So we had a violin going. We had a banjo going. We had guitar, piano. We had a band. We had everything but the Baptist drum set, and it was a youth revival.
Right. But the Lindsay boys almost remind me of the Darlings.
Yes, yes. I know.
And they did it on purpose. I mean, they did. It was great.
And so we just had fun with them. And then, we had the
right.
Taylors that came, and Lyman was always fun. And one thing, I don't know if you knew this, but I remember I think you were gone, and yeah, you were, because this is the time that during that time period that we put the radio underneath their thing. But I wanted a 12-string guitar, but I couldn't afford it. And I want to say it was only $60. But that was back then, $60 was like $600, And I was trying to save up to get this guitar. I had a 6-string guitar, and I think Joy and Donna and I had just started our group, our trio singing and stuff. And I wanted it. And I remember it was the last night of the revival. And Lyman Taylor came up to me, and he had bought that guitar and gave it to me.
Aww. See, that's one thing about like the Taylors and the Nobles.
Speak louder so people hear.
The Taylors and the Nobles. That was what's good about them. They were givers, and they were very mission minded. They were givers, but they believed in going above your tithe and reaping and sowing. Is what the word I'm trying to think. They were all big on that, and still are. I shouldn't say.
Well, we all felt like family. We could all be ourselves. Yeah, and that's what I like.
And that was dangerous too.
Oh, we would laugh so hard after revival meetings, and we would go home. We'd rejoice in the salvations that there were, but then we would have a blast.
Right. And I played the piano when I was young, and Mom didn't. Mom didn't care if we had a fever. You're going to
You're going to church. In
school. But when it was revival on Fridays, it was a revival. My dad told Mom, nope, she's not going to school, because I was up. We were always up late. All of us.
Right.
We all didn't go to school Fridays, and when we'd have revivals, and that was so exciting, because then you'd sit up Thursday night and we'd just have the best time. I mean,
and I remember when the Mullins came. Me and Buddy became instant friends right away. That was so much fun.
Cindy and I were pen pals forever.
Oh,
I don't know when it ended, but we finally,
that was us. I remember because Buddy got this gold pocket watch that he wanted so bad, and you had got me on one of your trips. I think to Paris, London, or something like that.
England.
You got me this gold ring with white onyx or something in it, and I wore that forever, and me and Buddy became really good friends, and we didn't know the other one was doing this, and when we went to say goodbye, I gave him my ring and he gave me his watch.
Oh man.
And so it was fun. And like the Noble family, I always loved when they came over, because they were, especially when Donnie was with them and stuff, we would be downstairs playing ping pong all the time. Around the world, we're ping pong.
We did that with everybody. Do you remember?
How many people can you get around the ping pong table?
The youth group would, like when we were kids, like when we were teenagers, the youth group would come over like all the time. And we would play ping pong around the world and all this stuff. And Mom would just she'd make those open-faced hamburgers. Mom,
so this is before you had pizza rolls and things like this. So how do you feed all these kids? And Mom came up with this concoction.
Well, somebody, I think Miss Latham told Mom about it. And it was like, you take hamburger buns, but she made this meat kind of stuff, and real thin, and you'd put it on
top,
and you just put it in the oven for a little bit and broil it, and it would cook, and it would, everybody went nuts.
They were so
Jamie found the
good.
Recipe, by the way.
Oh, we got to have that, because they were so good.
They were so good. But anyway.
And Miss St. John always did pigs in a blanket.
That's right. And I remember the boys would do those in the pull-ups in the utility room, and Mom would come down and go, oh my gosh, it's so ripe. It's so ripe it would stink like the BO. And Mom would come in going, all right, boys. And I remember one of the boys was doing this, and it was one of the teenage boys, and I can't remember. And Mom goes up to him and goes, she really did. I was horrified. I don't know why, because they all knew my mom. They all laughed at Mom.
Mom was hilarious. I remember one time, we're so off subject today, but who cares?
Yeah.
That's
how we roll.
I had a whole youth group was at our house, and we're watching a movie, and everybody got up to leave, and Mom goes, oh, you guys got to wait at least 15 more minutes. I go, well, why? She goes, well, all their jackets are in the dryer right now. She washed everybody's coats.
Yes.
And I'm like, who does that?
I would have summer parties where Mom would just make culottes for the girls, because they'd want culottes, because we'd go to Dolores Ranch.
Culottes.
And but Mom would take T-shirts, and then she would take the material and like make pockets. And back then it was cool. But we used to wear those scarves, those, and she would make scarves to match them. And the girls, we looked good.
You were happening,
we
huh?
looked good. But so we have summer parties so Mom could measure them and all this stuff. And we'd stay up and watch TV, eat popcorn. She'd make those sandwiches,
Well, I got to tell you, I have enjoyed tonight, because we have not got to do this in a while.
And we haven't talked in a while either.
I know. For real.
Yeah.
But this is my favorite podcast. I would say it's my favorite podcast that I do, just because
it's mine, but it's the only one too.
But we get I just like getting closer to my sister.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's funny because Amber was an only child, so John and Holly would fight like cats and dogs all the time.
You did.
And I think we said this on our podcast that me and Amber was, but it was funny. Amber would always go, I just want them to love each other. When will they why can't they just like each other? I said, when Holly moves out, they will become best friends. And that was true. Like last week when we were filming this, John was at his sister's house, and they get along great now, but
I remember when I went to college, that's when it hit you, like, She's not here to bug.
I know. I didn't realize how much I loved you until you were gone, you know?
Bug me. I mean, when I went there for you to bug, because I would get mad at you. Come on, Mom.
So after you moved out, me and Roger put all our attention toward Gayla.
Yeah.
You know, but
Thank
Gayla would hit you back. So, you know, I could
Yeah.
run from you, but Gayla, man, there's sometimes she whooped the tar out of me and Roger.
Mom and
both.
Dad didn't do anything about you, so
Well, that's
you were
cute.
the baby.
I was Prince Mike. So,
Prince Mike.
anyways.
Prince John, you talked about him last. Prince John, now you're Prince Mike. That's right. We can tell some Prince Mike stories.
That's right. Hey, I'm proud of it. What can I say? Well, anyways, listen, thank you guys for watching us
Hope we
tonight.
didn't bore you too much. We just ramble. That's all we do. We ramble.
Yeah,
we
but
do it.
I'm excited about your podcast coming out.
I'm
Both of
excited
them.
about it.
I
I'm
can't wait.
nervous and scared, but I'm excited.
No, I think it's going to be good.
It
And
is
you
gonna be
have
good.
you have an awesome story that needs to be shared. And I think there's going to be a lot of women who are going to benefit so much from it.
I just been hiding and shamed, and
you don't need to.
it's still.
I know.
But I'm going to tell you something.
We're-
We kept it rolling, and I would say, "Stop it, Wes, stop," you know, and he would just sit back. And I thought he would stop, but I would cry. But I'm telling you, at the end, Wes was crying, Jamie was crying, I was crying when it was over. Because it was like, I never talk about it, not even to them. Well, I have to Jamie a little bit, but to Wes, we didn't really talk about it. I'm not telling what happened. I'm just telling how I felt and the shame, and I'm taking ownership in it.
Yes.
And not ownership in how it started, but ownership in how I handled it or didn't handle it. And the things I went through. So see, I'm getting teary-eyed now,
but you learned a lot from it. And what's so great about our crud in our life is when God can take it and use it to help others.
Yeah.
And that's like writing my book. That's why I wrote my book, was not because I wanted to glorify anything that I had done, because nothing was glorified in that book, but I wanted God to take the crud and turn it around for good. And already he has. Yeah. I had lunch with a good friend today who I haven't seen in a while, who just read my book, and he sat there, and it made him brave enough to talk to me about some things. And I was just like, it was such a God moment we had today.
I know.
And I'm very thankful for that. And that's the opportunities. And I think you're going to run into the same things with it.
Yes. And I know that's why my kids struggled afterwards, and they all, but there's a good promise in the Bible that says, you train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he shall not depart. And I will say that's a true promise. And I've got some great,
and I think
godly kids.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's why,
now.
Well, I think that's how I found my way back to God, was because even though our parents weren't perfect, they raised us the best they could with knowing God and in church.
The one thing I will say about our dad and our mom, where they believed what they believed and they lived what they lived.
Yes.
And what you saw was who they were.
Yes.
What you saw at church was Roland and Roy at home.
They were not fake.
No, they were not. Absolutely not.
Even though
not like you.
Dad liked to please people.
But that's
his personality. But he was very real. And Dad could be brutally honest to people when counseling them, and they needed to know that. So, but anyways, so looking forward to your episode. Becky's going to be doing next week's, because I'll probably still be on a cruise.
I think I'll drive west. I got some grandkids that have moved down here.
Hey, there you go. Maybe you and Ziggy could do a warm up. So
me and him already did a commercial. It's hilarious, but we're not going to air it until we get.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
So, well, guys, thank you for watching us. Like my brother said, don't you have a life? Anyways, you guys have a great week, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.